Hallmarkies podcast. We are really excited today. We have one of our favorite writers here with us. We love having Julie Sherman Wolfe on the podcast. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner. Megan is here.
Hi.
And Julie, thank you so much for coming back on the podcast.
I love coming on the podcast. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So, how have you been? It's been a little bit since we had you on.
It
And
has.
how's your
Everything
2022?
it started off a little rough, but everything's kind of chill now and good. And very excited about this holiday season coming up for Hallmark. And I'm working, of course, on stuff for next year already. But I'm just enjoying my New England fall right now, looking out the window and watching the squirrels. And my dog just freaked out on 2 deer out front, waiting for our neighborhood bear to walk by. And once that happens, we'll have our complete Hallmark fall moment. Once that happens.
You've been busy. You've got 2 new movies coming out for this holiday season.
Yes.
And that must have been very exciting to be part of. We got the Holiday Spectacular,
which was I can't even explain how surreal it was and exciting to be able to film at Radio City and basically have the whole place to ourselves. And you walk in and it's just breathtaking. And when it's empty, it's bigger, it's larger than life. And then just to be on the stage and looking out and thinking, I cannot believe that we're here. It was wild. And the fact that they closed the street down in front in New York City, just that little sign that the police put up was exciting for me. It was just really, I never really thought that writing for Hallmark would land me at Radio City Music Hall. And it did. And it was an incredible thing. I'm so excited for everybody to see it. I'm told people really, really love the movie who have seen the whole thing. I loved it, but I'm biased. I'm told that people are very happy, very, very, very happy and excited with it, both internally with Hallmark and people who see the movies but don't usually comment on them. So I'm so excited for everybody to see it. And the actors are unbelievable. And I know they're not familiar necessarily to the Hallmark audience, but these are, very, very good trained Broadway actors. They both are the leads on Broadway shows. They're amazing.
Yeah. Well, and Anne Margaret,
oh my gosh. That was when she walked in, everybody just stopped because it was just so, she's just an icon. And she was lovely. And then Eve Plum, that was of course, as a child of the 70s, seeing Eve Plum was pretty exciting. I think she's, doesn't necessarily want everybody to go up to her and ask questions about Jan Brady, but so I tried really hard not to. But she was super nice, really, really nice. We actually hung out for quite a while one day and had some nice conversations. So it was just a dream scenario. Then conversely, right now they're shooting the Hanukkah movie, Hanukkah on Rye. And this is probably one of my top 5 favorite scripts I've written, besides this one, Holiday Spectacular. But, being Jewish and really and having a deep, deep love for deli. I got to put all those things together. Plus, lots of Jewish. It has a good vibe to it, but I think it's really accessible to everybody. It's still a romantic comedy. It feels more like kind of the old school 90s kinds of romantic comedy. And it has definitely a little bit of that like shop around the corner, you've got mail vibe to it anyway. I'm super excited. This is for sure my favorite year of holiday movies from my career standpoint.
Yeah. Well, I'm just super pumped for a lot of reasons for both of these movies. The Rye movie just seems very funny. I'm looking forward to the humor. And especially it'll be nice being the first day of Hanukkah and also sort of the last movie from it that we'll see from Hallmark this season. So it's kind of, I think it'll end things on a really funny note.
I can't believe how late Hanukkah is this year. And my husband wrote a children's book that's a big bestseller every year, called Schmelf the Hanukkah Elf. And we're always lamenting the late Hanukkah, you know what I mean? 'Cause we like to kind of get out there and have a lot of fun with it. And this year, sort of, we have to wait and wait for the movie, wait and wait for the book readings and all that stuff. It's just a weird. But that being said, the year that Hanukkah was on Thanksgiving, which was probably, I want to say like 10 years ago, that was the worst. That was the worst, but it was a funny picture to have a turkey on the table and a bunch of things, then a bunch of Hanukkah presents next to it.
And maybe this is an ignorant question, but why does it change?
Yeah, the Jewish calendar is slightly off from the rest of the world calendar. It's always, because we're in the years 5,700 and something.
Yeah.
And then the way the Jewish calendar is just slightly different. So that's why Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are always on different days. And the start of Hanukkah is always on different days. And sometimes it's extreme. We've had Hanukkah start on Christmas Eve, again, like Thanksgiving, but that's a 1 in 700 year thing. Yeah. It's kind of fun. It's always fun to find out when Hanukkah starts that year.
I guess
the worst part
like
is
Easter changes too.
Yeah, exactly. And so the worst part is that when we were a kid, Hanukkah would be early and you get all your presents, and then 2 weeks later it's Christmas, and you're sitting there going like, well, I don't have anything. Like, you're just kind of like bummed out because it's your stuff's over, right? And everyone's so excited about Christmas, and we're just like, okay, well. But I will say, Santa did visit our house growing up. We love Santa. We love you, as you know. We've talked about this, but my Greg and I and my family, we are very much Christmas loving Jewish people. We decorate. We love it. It's just not in the religious way, but in sort of the secular way. But we love our Christmas, obviously, or else
in
I
the
wouldn't.
Hallmark way. Let's be real.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, and if you drove by my house, you would think one of us wasn't Jewish because of the decorations and the lights and the whole thing, but we are. So we just love it.
That's great. Well, I mentioned this in our preview and a lot, but I am very excited about the Spectacular movie because the Rockettes have a special place in my heart. My grandma loved the Rockettes. I mean, one year I even got her a Rockettes art book, like special, book for her coffee table. And we went to see the Rockettes together with my cousin in 2000, and that was the reason that we were able to convince her to take us and to go on the trip and everything. We're like, we'll go see the Rockettes, and that my cousin ended up passing away the next April. And my grandma's gone, and she was just very dear to me, and so the Rockettes have a very special place in my heart, and so I'm really hyped for it. I'm very hopeful it'll be a good one.
Oh, I love hearing. I mean, I'm sorry about them both passing, but I think Rockettes has a tie to a lot of people in the same way. Like, it's iconic, and it's connected to a lot of people's childhoods and family that go every single year to New York. They make the pilgrimage to go see them. And it is really special. I'd seen the show when I was little, and I kind of just didn't remember what I saw. And then when we were developing this, I got to go see it again, and I just was, jaw to the floor. I didn't remember it being that incredibly complex and beautiful and exciting. And they're amazing women, and that's a lot of what this movie does focus on, is sort of that sisterhood of the women, and how that it really is a family, and it's always been like that with the Rockettes, and also the people that go see it. So there's a whole family vibe to that, and in the movie, and there's two stories going on. There is a romance, but there's also this story about finding, this family with each other.
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
And just by the way, the fact that we got to set it in 1958 I was so happy about it, because the costumes and the cars and it just looks so good. It looks so lush and beautiful and colorful, and just, it's like the Hallmark Mrs. Maisel, it looks like that. So
that's so rare for Hallmark. They barely ever do.
Very.
They do a lot of like traveling through time, but they don't really do like, just it's in a different era. So yeah, I'm really excited about that.
I don't remember anything that's really takes place fully in a different time.
The closest is probably that, Candace Cameron Bure comment movie. I'm trying to think of any other ones there, but that just starts in the 40s, right? 40s.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's one from a long time ago called An Old-Fashioned Thanksgiving. That is.
Ooh, I don't even know that one.
Yeah, I
it's
didn't know that one.
2008, 2009. It's way back. That's the only one I can think of that's like a period film. I mean, that's in like, when was that?
I think it's because this movie is so special, and the fact that we have the Rockettes and Margaret and all these, and everything that is and Radio City. I think if there was going to be a time to really, go for it on something like that with the time period and all that, this was it, right? I mean, it's time. They're timeless. They are timeless in a way, but
is from 2008, and it had Old-Fashioned Thanksgiving. It has She-Hulk herself, Tatiana Maslany.
Oh
really?
Yes. So, and Jacqueline Bisset. Anyway, that's the only other one I can think of, and except that was way at the beginning. So I'm looking forward to that element too. That's very unique. So very cool. All right. Well, we had you on in particular, not only to talk about the new movie, but we want to rank Julie Sherman Julie Sherman Wolfe movies. But you have so many that we are just going to do a top 8 today.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, okay. Top 8. And this was a lot of fun, a lot of really good movies.
Ho, ho, ho! We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
And for Megan, were there a number that you hadn't seen before and you're doing your ranking?
There were a few that I hadn't seen that I watched actually last night, so they're very fresh in my brain.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I hadn't seen Always Amore, and I watched that one last night.
Oh.
And yeah. I somehow missed that one. I don't know how I missed it.
I think it was it on the network or was it on the main network or the Movies and Mysteries? That might be why.
Yeah.
I think it was originally on the other channel, yeah.
Yeah. Now, you can let us know your favorites. I know they're all your babies, so but if you have favorites,
I can tell you. Do you want to know right now?
No, just as we go along.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. That's fine. I'll let you know if you hit one.
Okay. All right, well, let's dive in, and you can hopefully tell us some details or how you got the idea, or we can talk about it. It'll be fun.
Sure.
All right, and number 8 for me is Marry Me at Christmas. I think that this one is a pretty fun one. I like. I wish they would do more with the Fool's Gold series. The Susan Mallory.
I think they meant to. But just things happen and behind the scenes. You just don't know why things don't continue on. I think it was originally meant to be kind of a series, but it still could.
Yeah, I think that she's a fun writer, witty writer. So the combination of the two of you taking her books and you helping with the script, I think it made it a lot of fun. Like, it's always a fun dynamic, like the movie star coming in and the regular girl falling for the movie star is always fun.
I thought Rachel was so good too, and Trevor, they
Yes.
were so good in this.
Yeah. I like Rachel Scarson. I like the fact that she has curly hair. There's very few curly hair heroines in Hallmark movies. Yeah, Emily Tennant is in it, and she's really cute. A lot of times I don't like wedding movies on Hallmark because of the bridezillas and stuff like this. But this one I enjoyed. And it's very Christmassy. It's very idyllic as far as the town and everything like that. So I enjoyed it. It got my number 8. Yeah. Now, were you on a rewrite on this one?
No, that was just me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how did that end up happening? And is it harder when you're adapting a book than your own original idea?
Yes, it is harder, but I will say that generally, like, I have the book. I'm looking at it behind me right now. Once I read the story, to be honest, I don't really lift dialogue. I don't really use actual dialogue from the book for the most part, unless there's something spectacular that works. Because a book, if you did a book to a movie and you didn't change anything, it would be a 5-hour movie. At least, right? So you have to really just you do have to make some concessions with the story, and you have to change things. And not everybody likes that when they're a big fan of the book. Case in point was a movie I did, was Avalon High for Disney. And Disney said, yeah, the ending needs to be changed. And people just lost their minds. They were so pissed. So like, you can't, sometimes you just have to you have to do, what the people paying you want you to do. But then as far as adapting these kinds of books, it's just, the stories it's a really strong story, and you use those characters in general. And I try and save as much as the spirit of the book as I can. But then even the authors, when they go on Twitter after you do a book adaptation, they're like, it's not exactly the book, but I liked it. I like what it is, because they understand also that it has to be different just by its nature. Yeah. It's just not going to be the same.
I think the most of the time I'm very forgiving. Where I don't like it is, for instance, in the new Netflix Persuasion, when you literally don't honor the character, especially such an iconic book. Their Aunt Elliot is like a rebel and getting drunk and pouring wine on her head, and like that's not Anne at all, even a little bit.
Right. So then I
start to have issues. Like, you have to at least like have some semblance of like the spirit of the characters and the basic story, I think.
Right.
I mean, I can be very forgiving, but that's just where I draw the line.
And just as a side note, I would say I think that Marry Me was probably my favorite Christmas script as of right now.
Still.
Oh. Maybe Dickens is a close second.
Nice. Okay, cool. All right.
Oh, no, I'm wrong. Sorry. I totally forgot about One Royal Holiday. I take it back. I'll get back to that later. Never mind. I forget. Never mind.
Okay. Megan, what is your number 8?
My number 8 is Taking a Shot at Love with Luke McFarlane and Alexa Penavega. I just think that, do you have that one on your list too, Rachel?
I do. You can go ahead. I'll talk about it in a bit.
Okay. Yeah, I just think it's such a cute story. I love the sort of athlete has to do ballet kind of thing. I used ballet growing up and even took some adult classes in my life. So I think it's a cute movie. I really like them, and just the story is really cute.
Thank you. That one was a rewrite, but it was again, where the rewrite was a page 1, meaning, I took the basic idea of a ballet dancer helping an athlete, and everything else kind of changed. Now, not to disparage the first writer, but that, that's the rewrite process. And the story was really solid. Just that great fish out of water, the comedy of it all. That's actually my number 2. That's actually my second favorite of all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love that movie. Also because I said it in my town that I live in and all that.
Oh,
that's what I was going to say. You got like a whole festival going, right?
I did. That was they. I made up a Avon Winterfest in the script, and then when I did some press here, I said sort of offhand, I said, yeah, I kind of just was hoping somebody in Avon would see this and actually make one in real life, because we don't really have like a holiday festival, and they did it.
Oh, wow.
They did it last year.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And then they showed that movie. We'd had a big outdoor screening of Taking a Shot of Love.
That's so fun.
It was really great.
All right. Well, my number 7 is Always Amore from this year.
I have that one on my list too.
Okay, good. And I love Tyler Hynes. We all do. He's charming. He was asked to go some kind of deeper places for this movie. Autumn is great too, and she can do the drama. At first I was like, why is this on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries? But
you asked me about that too.
Yeah, I asked you about that.
Yeah, you were like, is this not funny? What's going on? Can you write drama?
And this was the year of Italy co-opting Hallmark Channel, and this is one of the better ones from the year. Whether it was either Italian restaurants or actually going to Italy, there's been a lot, which is
originally this was in Italy.
Oh, really?
Yes. For a lot, this movie was in development for the longest of any of my movies. I think it was 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And it kept changing and changing and changing. We kept changing location and changing the vibe and changing comedy to drama and who his character, her character, like everything kept changing. And then all that Italy you're talking about kind of put us in a bit of a pinch because we couldn't do another one, right? So we had to figure out a way to make it Italian, but not in Italy, which I think we did. So
yeah. Well, was it fun coming up with all the different recipes and different things?
That was hard. I had to, really do a deep dive into the internet. Thank God there was the internet. I guess I did a good job because Giada's people all said that, yeah, she thinks those recipes all make sense. And then she added a couple of ones that she wanted to put in as well. Because it's hard because I'm not I love gourmet food, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert on, Italian cuisine by any means. Right. So I had to really figure out like, okay, well, what can he make that's something that could win something, or what would be the famous thing? It was hard. And I had to do a lot of research into truffles and mushrooms and tomatoes. And I learned a lot of stuff just by writing that. It did give me an appreciation actually for those kinds of details, as far as food goes. And I like when people tell me I have a lot of food in my movies, like a lot of food in my almost every movie. And this one people kept telling me they were ordering Italian like halfway through.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because there's lots of different styles too because there's this sort of straight a traditional
spaghetti factory.
There's the I think she makes a pie.
Yeah, she makes a dessert, right? Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
And then there's everything that they cook at home in the meals at home.
Yes. Yeah.
And then his fancy dancy recipes that he does. So it was a lot. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, it definitely it was worth it in the end after all that to get it to that point. But I'm glad it finally got made.
And I think this movie had a really good final kiss. It was very earned, and
he had a concussion too.
Yeah,
apparently he had a concussion the whole time, so he did a really good job.
Oh, he
could do that with a concussion. Yeah, he said it's not private knowledge. He talked about it on Twitter that he had at some point had a concussion at a couple days of shooting, or I don't remember exactly what scenes they shot those days, but yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he did a good job.
Good job.
All right.
Good job, Tyler.
Megan, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is The Birthday Wish, which I know you have on your list as well. I know that's one of your favorite. Should we talk about now or later?
Yeah. No, you can share your thoughts on it.
Okay. Yeah, I just think this one is really cute. I know you like this too, Rachel, that she kind of just has flashes of the future. I thought it was a really cute idea to do that. And so she, she's not like time traveling or anything, but she's just kind of having flashes of the future. Just a really cute script. Again, Luke McFarland is so great in these movies. And I think, sometimes it's hard to make a movie that's not related to any kind of season, and so I think this one's really great because it's not fall or Christmas. It's just, it could be any time of the year. So I think that in order doing that and doing that well, I think is difficult. And you did a really great job, I think.
Oh, thanks. That actually, it's funny you said that because that movie is the one that's aired the most of any of mine because of that, because of the seasonlessness of it.
Yeah. And that's kind of rare. And, they really like the themed, the holiday or like season themed movies. So yeah, it's nice to have one that's not related to that and you can just watch it anytime and,
Yeah, I have that one higher.
Yeah, I know you do.
It's one of my favorite non-Christmas Hallmark movies, and so we'll talk about it in a bit. But yeah, love Luke and Jesse in this. I think they're great. Such good chemistry.
That's so important. You can have the best script in the world, but if the actors don't have chemistry, then it just sits there.
Do you have any say?
What's that?
Sorry?
Oh, do you have any say in like who the actors and actresses are, or they just
not really. I begged for Luke for taking a shot at love and it worked out because I just thought he was perfect for it, but that's very rare that I actually kind of get that person I was picturing, because I don't even usually picture anybody anymore, because in my mind they are original people that don't exist yet, right? Like they are who they are, so I don't pin anybody to it until they get cast, and then maybe I'll do a quick polish where I know who the actor is, and I can, with Tyler I did that too, sort of tailoring it to him a little bit more. But once we knew that it was him on the Amore. But yeah, Birthday Wish, I thought they were so. And by the way, Peter DeLuise directed that, and he is directing the Hanukkah movie, and I'm so happy because Birthday Wish had a lot of comedy, the Hanukkah movie has a lot of comedy, and he is the best at it.
Yeah.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the good folks at Baker Publishing Group. Looking for the perfect gift for the romantic book lover in your life? These contemporary romance novels will woo their way into your hearts. First, we have To Win a Prince by Toni Shiloh. Fashion aficionado Iris Blakely dreams of using her talent to start a business to help citizens in impoverished areas. But when she discovers that Econ Dilo will be her business consultant, the battle between her desires and reality begins. Can she keep her heart and business intact despite the challenges she faces? Have to read to find out. Next up, All That It Takes by Nicole Deese. After moving cross-country with her son and accepting a filmmaker's mentorship, Val Locklear is caught between her insecurities and new possibilities. Miles McKenzie returns home to find a new tenant is living upstairs, and he's been banished to a ministry on life support. As sparks fly, they discover that authentic love and sacrifice must go hand in hand. Pretty Little Spaces by Carmen Schober is sure to please. Georgina Havock's dream of a happily ever after falls apart when her boyfriend blindsides her with a pause. She is determined to pick up the pieces of her previously perfect life, but with the reappearance of her troubled twin sister, plus the presence of a ruggedly handsome ex-sniper, she's left facing not only her shattered future, but also her past. Looking for Leroy by Melody Carlson, Brianna Phillips is ready to give up on love, but when her fellow teacher invites her on a trip through Sonoma wine country, she's reminded of her first crush, whose family owned a vineyard there. Is there any chance she can find him? And one last chance for a love? Next up, The Sweet Life by Suzanne Woods Fisher. Jilted by her fiancé, Don Dixon, escapes to beautiful Cape Cod on a groomless honeymoon with her mother. But she didn't expect her mom to risk everything on a whim to move there permanently and buy a rundown ice cream shop in need of repair. Of course, in order to make their new life work, they'll also need her ex's help.
Finally, The Last Way Home by Liz Johnson. A disgraced former NHL player and a local artist are thrown together when her pottery studio burns to the ground on the day he returns to Prince Edward Island. But as they work together to rebuild, their secrets will come out, putting even their hearts on the line. So head over to bakerbookhouse.com/featured/Hallmarkies to pick up one of these great books and use code Hallmarkies40 for 40% off these titles from November 14th to December 12th. That's bakerbookhouse.com/featured/Hallmarkies and use code Hallmarkies40 for 40% off.
Yeah.
Do you find that some of the tropes are easier to write than others, like friends to lovers, second chance romance, enemies to lovers, like those kind of things?
That's a good question. I like enemies to frenemies to lovers, because it lends itself sometimes to funnier banter at the beginning and gives them a little something to, sink their teeth into.
Yeah.
I do like that, because then it's a challenge on my end, because can you write where they're fighting, but also in there that there's an attraction. So it's fun for me to see if I can kind of thread that needle. I mean, obviously every Hallmark movie has those tropes in it, and that's always the challenge, is kind of just to try and think of an original way to get to the same ending that we know is coming, right? So, but I do like a little bit, I like my banter, but I do like a little snark, and I will say that I'm very, very happy the last couple of years that's been we've been allowed to kind of open that up a little bit more, and have a little more edge to stuff, but not in any kind of offensive way, but just have a little bit more realistic, a little bit edgier, and a little just sort of that box got a lot bigger as far as where we can work from.
Yeah, I agree. I like that too. So let's see. I forget where are we at with you, Megan? We're at 6?
I think we're at number 6. Yeah.
6. Okay, sorry. So Megan, what do you have at 6?
Oh, I have One Royal Holiday at number 6. This one is so cute. It's fun that, the royal is sort of the one out of place, as opposed to, the normal person in the royal place. So I love that. I love the PJ scene.
Oh, yeah.
And I just think it's just really cute. They have good chemistry. Laura is amazing. And
she's so great.
Yeah. And that one is really funny. Like, you laugh. There's some really funny moments. Like when he asks for the pillow menu.
He does it with and he's so appalled that there isn't one. It's so funny. He did a really good job.
Yeah, it's really, the script is just so funny, and I think it was kind of like a surprise favorite of that season. I don't think anyone saw it coming. For example, for a Holiday Spectacular, we're like all so excited about it. I don't remember being really excited about One Royal Holiday, and then I remember everyone really loving it. So that's always fun when it's kind of like a surprise favorite.
And also, we got these massively talented Broadway actors that would never have had time to do this, but they were all down because of COVID. Broadway was still down, and I can't believe I've gotten a lot of Broadway people actually in the last few movies, but this one was crazy. To have Victoria Clark and Tom McGowan and Crystal Joy Brown. She's still in Hamilton, and Laura, who was they're all just amazing top people. Yeah, it was so cool.
Don't Aaron Tveit, obviously. Aaron Tveit.
I know. Yes, him too. It's funny. I have 2 Moulin Rouge leads now, because Aaron was the lead when we shot One Royal Holiday, and and now I have Derek Klena, who's the lead in the Holiday Spectacular, who's now the lead of Moulin Rouge, and I just saw him, and he was incredible.
Oh my gosh, so excited! Yeah, this one is so cute. I love it, and it's just so Christmassy, and I wish you had been able to do the PJ's ball. Maybe someday you can work that into a story.
I know it almost we went back and forth. We went back and forth on it, but ultimately it's a royal movie, and everybody wants to see everybody in a gown, and that's why it ended up like that. Really,
yeah. I love the final dance and kiss in this movie. I think it's so well done.
I loved her dress. Her dress was amazing, wasn't it?
So good.
Oh, man.
And
so pretty.
His whole speech and everything, and very, very well done. Well, my number 6 is Taking a Shot at Love. Really enjoy this movie. There's a lot of like really cozy moments in this movie where they're like bunkering down in the storm and like playing cards and having friend time, and that I love that. Also, Luke McFarlane doing ballet is just super cute.
He's so cute.
Endearing.
He was trained. He's a trained dancer, though.
Mm-hmm.
He's trained. He's actually a trained dancer. So she was the one that had to learn ballet.
That's interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he went to Juilliard, I think.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I believe it. He's a good actor.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, I love it. He's my. I love that guy.
Yeah. So that's my number 6. I think it's very charming. All right, Megan, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is right in front of me. I love this one. I love Danelle Parrish. I was a huge Pretty Little Liars fan. And I rewatched it, and it was so funny because it's in Marin, and that's where I live.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. My husband was like, that hotel is not in Marin. I was like, yeah.
Well, no, it's in Canada.
Obviously, yeah. But yeah, I just think this one's cute. I like that, he's like kind of trying to help her get back her college crush, but then obviously she falls in love with him. It's a cute movie. I think it's funny as well, and I like it a lot.
Well, thanks. It was started out as going to be a high school reunion, but it just didn't work as far as the ages go and all that stuff, and it didn't seem as it wasn't enough time passed for it to be meaningful,
right?
So it became college. By the way, I grew up in Walnut Creek. You're in Marin right now?
Yeah, I live in Corte Madera.
Oh, no way. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. My number 5 is The Christmas Club.
Oh my gosh, right. The Christmas Club. I put these. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that. That's a good one. I like that one.
You have so many that I'm sure it's easy to forget.
I totally forgot.
I mean,
and I loved it. But like...
Cameron Matheson is great. Elizabeth Mitchell was really cute. There were a lot of like little details that probably nobody else noticed, like the ho ho hot dogs that I thought was so fun in this movie. I mean, I my only thing I wished in this movie is that there had been an actual Christmas club and they had meetings.
That's right.
I would be
we
totally
talked about that. That's right. That's right.
Didn't somebody end up that? It was Christmas? Really sweet, and I liked the fact that she had to. It wasn't a save the dance studio thing. She had choices about what to do with. Trying to figure out what to do with her life and where to go next, and but it wasn't like I don't know, that typical trope, which isn't my favorite usually.
Save the community center is one I would try to avoid at all costs, but it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard to do sometimes. But this one was based. The Christmas Club is based on the book because back in the day when this was supposed to be in the 50s or 60s, a Christmas Club was a savings club. That was what they called the savings, layaway type thing. That's why it's called that.
Yeah. But I still think that would be a really fun idea for a movie, is to have like a Christmas club where every month you meet and you do Christmas stuff every month during the whole year. And you could have like a new person move into town and be a member of the Christmas club, or you could have like dueling Christmas clubs. I don't know. There's just something there. I feel like,
Rachel, just make this happen in real life, and that could be your thing.
Okay.
Just do it.
That's my dream. Anybody in the Utah area that wants to join a Christmas club with me,
do it.
I'm ready. All right. Megan, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is Wedding Every Weekend. I love this one for many reasons. I think it's so relatable because everyone has those years in your life where everyone's getting married. I never had like one every weekend, but I definitely had, years where I had like 5 weddings in one year. So, I think it's really relatable. And obviously, I think it was the first mention of a same-sex couple. Is that correct?
Yes, it was the first kiss for sure. And I guess maybe it was the first same sex. It was something. I think it was the first kiss.
Yeah. So I like, obviously that is great. I think everyone, or a lot of people, including myself, have, wanted more diversity in Hallmark movies. So I think, it's important to have that. And so that makes the movie great as well. But I just think it's just this one is funny. Paul Campbell's great in it. And it just so relatable again, because everybody has those years where everyone's getting married.
Paul and Kim together, obviously everyone knows that they're amazing together. They've done other stuff that's not mine together, right? And they're just so charming. I thought they did such a great job just with those little tiny moments that are in, not everyone's going to find that stuff. And they both did. They were so great together. Loved it.
Yeah, I love this one.
Yeah, it's a cute one. It was fun to see each of the different weddings, and yeah, and Paul's always really great. So, well, my number 4 is Finding Santa.
Oh, good old Finding Santa. I'm like, oh yeah, good old Finding Santa.
If I was going to pick one that I think your script helped the most, I would probably pick this movie, because the plot isn't that great, but but the dialogue and the banter really elevated it a lot. I mean, it's funny things like your zombie novel, and the just, I don't know, her making the eggnog and the banter between everything back and forth, I just thought was funny, and it elevated it to a forgive maybe a little bit silly plot.
I'm gonna have to watch it again. I haven't seen it in years, and I'm like, eggnog, right? Eggnog, yes, I remember that now. Like, I do remember thinking that I was happy that was one of those ones where I wasn't sure they were going to keep the comedy where it was, and they did. And then at the time, that's when Bill Abbott at the time said, "Oh, we should be doing more stuff like this." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. like we should have more comedy." And that's it took a while and a regime change, but here we are. So
so what do you have at 3, Megan?
I have A Dickens of a Holiday at number 3. You're the same?
Yeah.
This one is so funny too. I mean, I know we keep saying that, but Christopher Ploha is like the kind of, as this actor, action hero actor, the scene where he's like on the car is so funny. And I mean, Brooke is great in it. I love her, obviously. Her hair never ceases to amaze me. I just don't understand how someone can have such amazing hair. Every time I watch it, I'm like, oh my God, your hair. But the movie is just so great. And I just think it's a really cute, funny, great script. And it was definitely one of my favorite of that year.
Thanks. Credit to the original. I did a rewrite on that one too. And the plot was there before I got there, and credit to him as Mark Hefty, I believe, with the plot. Another example where it was a little more dramatic when I got to it, and kind of just changing the tone, trying to bring up the comedy more. And it's also hard not to kind of overly depend on the actual, Christmas Carol as, to fill the script. Like it has a delicate balance of watching the actors act.
Yeah, that was fun.
I thought he did such a good job on that, though. Those moments that were dramatic, he was amazing. And that could have gone totally wrong. It could have gone so badly, but he did such a great job.
He's really great in that movie.
It's hard for actors to play actors, it's not, I think it's really tough.
Yeah. You're an actor playing an actor acting. It's like,
but then he had to play an actor bad acting at the beginning.
Yes,
he
exactly.
had to play an actor not acting well, which is even harder. Right.
Yeah,
It's like being
exactly.
it's like being a singer. It's like being a singer, but having to sing off key. It's really hard to do. So, kudos to him.
I'm not sure I can't remember what the name of the action series, but that was very funny and enjoyable.
Oh God, I don't remember. I should look it. I'd have to look it up. I can't even remember what we called it.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous.
But it was just a well done story. And I mean, I'm a big fan of Christmas Carol arcs in these movies. And that was, fun to see him kind of go from being the grumpy one to warming up.
And I was trying not to be too on the nose with it, because it's everyone knows that's the arc. So you don't want it to be so on the nose. You're trying to do a little bit of like some shading on that, just so it's not the same exact thing, where it's not the grumpiness so much as just sort of the cynicism, right? So like you're trying to find one part of that character that's the beloved arc of the Christmas Carol, and try not to just do the same exact story. That's where those challenges come into, when it's something that everybody already knows. Trying to find kind of a different way in to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my 3 as well. So Megan, what is your number 2?
Number 2, I have Always Amore.
I'm
so glad I watched it last night because it was just so cute. I think it's so. I also thought it was kind of fun because it was almost like you had 2 like food show tropes, because you had like kind of the guy coming in saving the restaurant, and then there was also like a restaurant competition. So I just thought it was fun. I like the, it was a family business. It was also like understandable that they would not want to change things. Sometimes people in these movies are like so stubborn, and you're like, oh, I don't get it. Why are you so stubborn? But if your husband passed away and it was his business or his dream, you would obviously it would be hard to change things. So that would made it a little bit more, it was like understandable why she, why the whole family, was a little stubborn and didn't want to change things at first. So I just really liked it. I thought it was great.
Thank you. I want to do a sequel starring Antonio. He was very, I thought he was very charming. I don't know what to do with it, but I loved him. I thought he was great too.
Well,
I also love
another Italy movie. They should greenlight it right away.
I also love the dialogue you have with Autumn and her child. I don't know if you have kids, but
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. The conversation she was having about the kids like at the lunch table and not being like real friends. I like literally had that conversation with my stepson like last week. So
I always write, I generally have tended to write the age that my kid is, not too young, but my son's 13, and all that stuff is absolutely, the stuff we talk about, like what's the difference between a real friend and a friend that likes your post on on social media, or kids not really able to even interact with each other anymore without having a phone in their hands, which drives me nuts.
Oh my God, I know. Yeah, my stepson is in 6th. He just started 6th grade this year. So, it's a whole new world.
Yeah, it is. It's tough.
I hate that. So I like the dialogue. I found it very relatable.
Oh, thanks.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
My number 2 is One Royal Holiday.
Woo.
And, I'm a big Broadway person, and I love Erin Tveit so much. So that was huge. And I love Laura Osnes, and the whole cast is incredible. But it was just a very warm, comforting, sweet movie. The royal movies can be a bit hit and miss for me. But this was nice. The idea of he's the one that's the fish out of water in this situation, as opposed to the typical setup. It was clever. And they did a very good job with the snow in this movie.
Yeah. It was because that was here in Connecticut. It was the first movie. That and Wedding Every Weekend were like the first 2 movies they shot after COVID, oddly enough. And it was 90 degrees most of the time they were shooting that. So the fact that it looked that good is a testament to those same guys did the post production on Holiday Spectacular too. So it's similar quality, just looks great.
I mean, there's scenes where there's like she's walking along like a wall of snow, and it was very well done. And I loved the ending. I thought that was very sweet, and the dance plus his speech was really good. And so, yeah, it's my second favorite.
Yeah, I like that the mom. I like that the mom in that movie isn't, the queen. She's like a nice queen. She's not like, I like that because sometimes that can get sort of old.
They're always mean. That was on purpose because I noticed that they're always mean. And I love that she immediately at the donut shop had a little moment with Laura's character, and just like really had that cute little thing where it's like they're ganging up against Aaron, against what's his character's name? Aaron's character, whatever. I can't remember. Once it's written that like the names go out of my head and they're gone. I don't even remember. James, right. Anyway, so that was it. But
that's a good royal name,
James. And then we used Gallant, which is my mother's maiden name, so that got in there. Yeah. My mom here's a weird side note. My mother forever told us that we were Spanish royalty back in the 1500s before they, drove the Jewish people out of Spain, and that their name was Galante, and we are really royalty and all this nonsense. And then of course my sister does like 23andMe, and that is absolutely not true. None of that is true.
That's funny.
So unfortunately we had to break it to her. We are not in fact Spanish Jewish royalty. And
that's hilarious.
That could make a good royal movie though. Someone finds out that they're
not. No, they should find out they're not. They do 23andMe and find out they're nothing. That's not a bad idea.
Megan, what is your number 1? Drumroll.
So I feel like my number 1 is kind of shocking. I think it's going to be a surprise to Rachel, but when Rachel asked me to be on this podcast and I looked at, all of your work, this one just stood out to me. It's older, but I could remember what I felt like when I watched it. And I feel like because it's older and it stood the test of time and I watched it again, I think that's why I put it number 1. So it's Hello, It's Me with Kelly Martin.
Oh, I knew. I thought you were going to say that. I'm so glad to hear you say that.
I mean, this movie, you do comedy so well, but this one is, more dramatic, but it's just, I remember I cried the first time I saw it. I always watch it when it's on. I just think it's just so good. I think it, it really does the more dramatic scenes well. And it stood the test of time for me. So that's why I think it deserves my number 1 spot.
Thank you. It's funny because that's my, Liz Yost, who's been at Hallmark for I think 20 years and she's the one that brought me in with that movie. That's still her favorite Hallmark movie. I think not just mine, but I think one of her favorites ever. And it really, I got so lucky that was the first one for me and really established my career there. And it's funny that it is definitely one of the most dramatic things I'd written. But I watch it sometimes when it's on too, and it still kind of trips me up even now. And I love that you watched it. It's just it seems like forever ago.
It does, but it's still so good. Like I feel like it still, holds up. And I that's why I thought it deserved number 1.
Thanks.
Yeah, if we'd done a 10, that's my number 10. So I do really enjoy it. It's very sweet. My number 1, everybody probably knows. My number 1 is The Birthday Wish. I think it's one of the best Hallmark movies that's ever been made, non-Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. I think that they have really good chemistry. I love the concept of her getting just this little glimpse. And not only is it a little glimpse of her life, but here's this guy that she's been working with for forever that's in her life. And she's like, what? And I love Marcus Rosner as the wrong guy in this. He's so funny.
Yeah. Poor guy's always the wrong guy.
Yeah. He finally kind of clawed his way out of that, but
yes.
But he was hilarious in this. There's so many good scenes. Like I love the scene when she thinks he's proposing and she's like going through all the food. Like, where is it? Where is it? And he's like, what are you doing? That's great. I love the ending. I love that she's scared of dogs because I like wild, like dogs I don't know. I'm kind of scared of dogs, so I like that about her. I relate to that of her personality. I mean, I love Jessie. I think she's one of the best.
Charming.
Yeah.
I was so lucky that they let us do any kind of sort of magical, that non-Christmas magical, like the eye doctor. I'm just assuming in my mind, the eye doctor is sort of a, guardian angel magical being who made that happen. But, literally this was the producer saying, hey, they need a birthday movie for, January, February, somewhere in there. And that's where it started. And that was the only guidance at the time was they need a birthday part, like a movie about a birthday. And then it just kind of found its way to this. And I love movies that have magic in them. Yeah. Christmas Club is another one actually, but that's Christmas magic doesn't count. I think this is one of the only real magic ones that's not Christmassy.
Well, that's a good point. Cute scenes. Like I love when he brings her the big cookie, and that's so cute. I think it's one of the best written, one of the best executed. Great chemistry. You're really feeling it by the end.
That's a lot. Peter did a lot in that too. That I have to give him credit for this. That moment in Birthday Wish where the assistant's always getting him coffee and it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's always wrong, and then at the very end he gets it right.
Yeah.
It's like this little thing, and I thought it was so delightful, and that was just all Peter's idea. It was just great. Like that's the stuff he brings to this kind of stuff. And oddly enough, there's kind of a similar moment in the Hanukkah movie that was unintentionally similar, and now it's Peter again. But I guess I accidentally repeated sort of that vibe of trying something, a drink over and over until it's right. I did it again in Hanukkah. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah. So it's my favorite. So there we go. I guess should we go over our list real quick? So I have Merry Make Christmas at 8, Always Amore at 7, Taking a Shot at Love at 6, The Christmas Club at 5, Finding Santa at 4, A Dickens of a Holiday at 3, One Royal Holiday at 2, and The Birthday Wish at 1. So what about you, Megan?
So I had Taking a Shot at Love at number 8, The Birthday Wish at number 7, One Royal Holiday for number 6, number 5, Right in Front of Me, number 4, Wedding Every Weekend, number 3, A Dickens of a Holiday, number 2, Always Amore, and number 1, Hello, It's Me.
Very good. So what do you think, Julie, of our list?
First of all, thank you for doing this. This is just so... I'm really grateful that you guys even want to do this for all these movies. I'm really touched by it. So thank you, first of all. I when I was thinking of what my top ones were, I was waffling a lot, but I think you guys got all of them that I loved the most, but I think Birthday Wish is my favorite too. But now I think maybe one of these two movies this year may get the top spot. We'll see it, after I have to see. But then Taking a Shot at Love, Royal Holiday, and Wedding Every Weekend are sort of, but for me, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like, the most recent thing is the thing you like the most, you know what I mean? Because it's on the top of your mind. When you start talking about Hello, It's Me, I'm like, oh yeah, I really love that too. Wait, hold on. Oh yeah, Finding Santa, that was cute. So like I remember little things about each movie that I love. But the ones I always think about are like I said, was sort of Taking a Shot at Love, Birthday Wish, One Royal Holiday, Wedding Every Weekend. And I guess mostly because I veered toward comedy. That's where I came from, was doing sitcoms and all that kind of stuff. So I just really kind of gravitate. I know. See, Rachel, you didn't trust me that I could write a drama with Always Amores. But however, I think we talked about this. I think drama's easier than comedy to write.
No, I was just surprised. I have full faith in you.
That's okay. No, it's all right. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine, Rachel.
No. Thanks for coming on and doing this, and thanks for writing so many fun movies. It's always gets a bump in the preview ratings if I see it's a Julie Sherman's script.
Thank you so much. That's very nice. I'm confident in this year's Christmas holiday movies, but I'm really excited to hear what you guys think about them once they're aired.
I mean, I wanted to put Holiday Spectacular on my list without even seeing it. Can I just put this on my list because I know it's going to be on one of my favorites?
Well, the cool thing is that shoot, you know what? Remind me that I had some inside information for you, and I will tell it to you after it airs, and I'll tell you I could give you all sorts of behind the scenes things about the Rockettes thing after.
Oh, it sounds.
And I'm happy to give you all those tidbits, and I'll be posting lots of pictures and all that stuff once.
You know what we should do is we should have, since it airs in November, we should have the Patreon watch along be December. Be the
oh yeah, I would give lots of tidbits.
That would be fun.
For you.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
So, if people want to follow you on social media, all that fun stuff, how can they do that?
Twitter is @ShermWolfe, and Wolf has an E on the end. And Instagram is Julie Sherman Wolfe. I think there's underscores in between each one. I got to check. Hold on. This is how great I am at social media. Oh yeah. It's Julie _Sherman_Wolfe.
Great.
And that is it, because I'm not hip enough to make TikToks. So I'm not doing that. I thought there's nothing I would feel so much pressure. I couldn't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah, I haven't dove into that swamp yet either. So, but Megan, how can people find you?
So on Twitter, I'm Megan D320, and then on Instagram, I'm Megan Ruth 320.
And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. And make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really helps us, especially during this holiday season, to find new listeners. So please leave your ratings and reviews. And if you are listening on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group, like we mentioned, and the merch store, which has tons of new festive designs. So please take a look at that and help support the podcast. Thanks so much, Julie. It's always so much fun. And let us know
so much.
let us know in the comments what your favorite are. We'd love to hear that too if you're listening. And we'll talk to y'all later. Merry Christmas, everybody.